Yes, people, how are we all doing? So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about UK prison YouTube channels versus the USA prison YouTube channels. Because what I've noticed is when you have a look at some of the prison channels over in America, the subscriber count is actually massive compared to what us in the UK is. But obviously the size of America compared to the UK. The UK can fit in one of the states in America. That's the size difference in them. And I think that's a lot to do with the subscriber count. Because if you imagine all of us who's got the prison YouTube channels in the UK, if we were based in America, our subscriber count would be so much bigger because obviously our audience is mainly based in the UK and the USA. I'll just give you an example of one who hasn't really been on very long. I've been watching his channel a bit recently because some of the subscribers mentioned him, but you've got Jumpsuit Pablo. He's well over 100,000 subscribers, and that's in a relatively short space of time. And then you've got Lockdown 23 and 1, who for me is one of the best YouTube channels or prison YouTube channels in America. Josh, he's also known as Death. I don't know why that might have been his tag name whilst he was in prison. But whoever's been following me channel from the start will have seen I've done a podcast with Josh from Lockdown 23 and 1. I've actually done two. I've done a follow-up. I've done one. It might have been around about a year ago, but it is on my community channel. If you go on my community page, if you go on it and scroll down, you can see the interviews that I've done with him. And the way he comes across, I think it's why he engages with his audience and he gets a good feedback on his channel, and it's his reactions to the videos as well. Because if you watch the one that I'd done with him, everyone was mentioning like his reaction when I was telling them some gory stuff in the interview. So his channel has around about, I can't remember when I last looked, I'm sure it was around about 700,000 subscribers, which is an amazing amount of subscribers for a YouTube channel. Because anyone who has been following the channels or anyone that's tried to grow a YouTube channel, it's extremely hard. Because when I first started off my channel, it was mainly going to be about me book. But then as soon as I started mentioning the word prison and talking about prison in the video, the views just started going up and up and up. And that's how my channel has actually progressed, because it's only been about just over a year. Well, my channel at the minute has got over 55,000 views, which I'm extremely pleased about, because when I first started out, I never thought in a million years I would get that many subscribers, especially within a year. So again, thank you all for watching my videos and thanks for all subscribing. But again, I'll just mention this because when you go to your analytics and have a look at your audience and your views, phenomenally, there's 70% of my viewers aren't even subscribed to my channel. So I could actually, if you think about that, I've got 55,000 subscribers and 70% of the viewers aren't subscribed. So that would be a massive amount if everyone did click that subscribe button. I think what it is with a lot of people who don't realize that it's free subscription just to watch YouTube. And a lot of people don't realize either, even the ones that are subscribed who might be missing the videos, if you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe, every time a video uploads, it'll ping and you'll never miss another video. But getting back to the prison channels, the ones I mentioned in the UK, obviously you've got Sean Atwood, who he talks about a lot of different things on his channel now. But I think Sean Atwood is probably one of the original prison YouTube channels. And again, when I mentioned the difference between the UK and the USA subscribers. Sean Atwood has got, I think he's got well over 700,000 subscribers now. But that's a lot to do with he was banged up in America. He's got a few books out. I've read a couple of them. I actually read one of them whilst I was in prison before I even knew who Sean Atwood was. Obviously, when I got back out from prison and I realised all this podcast stuff that was going on, and obviously I jumped onto it. And I'd done an interview with Sean Atwood. But Sean Atwood done a lot of, well, he spent some time in the prisons in America. Can't remember exactly which ones they were. But when he come out and wrote books, his audience is a massive part of his audience or subscribers are actually the American ones. So that's how he's got so many as well, because he's got both sides of the pond. He's got the UK audience and the USA. And Sean Atwood started off by talking about his time in the prison system in America. But like my channel, it starts off with a certain topic, but then you build on it and you go with what the audience wants. Because a lot of my views are massive compared to what they were 6 months, 12 months ago. And it's progressed onto different things. And I'm talking about the prison news, what's happening in the news now. Sean's went on to other things as well. He does interview prisoners, ex-prisoners, sorry. But he also does conspiracies and he covers a lot of other topics that's in the news. But it's all to do with what the audience wants and what the subscribers want. And then you've got Yami B, who is another UK prison channel. And Yami just focuses on his time in the Category A prisons. He talks about his stories, about the people that he met. And me and Yami have actually met a lot of people who we both know. I've met people he knows, vice versa. Even though Yami spent a massive amount of time in the Cat A's, especially compared to what I did, and he's got some big stories, but I've still got a lot of stories of the years that I've spent in the high security prison. And so Yami has got his own little unique audience and he gets a lot of good views on his channel. And another one is Billy Moore. But going back to Yami, sorry, me and Yami are at one point going to get together and do a podcast. So I'm going to get him on my channel and do his story, do a podcast and talk about the people that we met in the Cat A's prisons. And Billy Moore, like I just mentioned, I've done a podcast with him well over a year ago. And Billy has got a very good channel. He's got a book out called A Prayer Before Dawn. And he's also got a film which is called A Prayer Before Dawn, talking about his time when he was banged up in Thailand. And it's quite brutal, the film. It's a good film, very good watch. So if you haven't seen it, go along and click it and get his book. Because there's a scene in that film where it makes the scene out of Scum look friendly compared to what happens in the Thai prison. It's similar to what happens in the shed in Scum, in the greenhouse, sorry, but it happens in the cell in Thailand. Because over there, they've got like between 50 and 100 people crammed in one cell. And it's an absolute hellhole. And Billy Moore has actually been through a lot of stuff. He's battled with addictions. He went over to Thailand to try and to better himself and try and get off the drugs, but he ended up getting on the drugs over there. And that's where his big, massive stories all come about. Billy's in recovery. He's a recovering addict. He's helping a lot of people. His channel has just getting over 50,000 subscribers. But again, Billy, he's been around a lot longer than me on the YouTube. He's been around a few years. But his channel, if he was in America, his channel would be tenfold. It wouldn't be 50,000 subscribers. It would be about 500,000. But like I say, that's the difference between our audience and the US audience. But who else will I mention on the prison channels? So I mentioned like Yami, Billy. I can't really think of any more that sticks out. Because I know you've got James English. He did used to focus on the prison side of it and interview ex-prisoners. But James English, well, he's rose to the top now where he's interviewing celebrities and he's not just talking about prison. Although he did start off doing that sort of thing, he's talking about loads of different topics as well interviewing celebrities, and he's got some really interesting. He's had some really interesting guests on. But like I say, he started out with the prison channel. And the other ones over in America, the ones that I've watched, if you've been following us, I've done an interview with excuse me, Vegas Prison Stories, but it's now called Vegas Profile Stories, I believe. And I've done an interview with him talking about his time in the Vegas prison systems, and it's a really good watch. If you go to my podcast section, flick down, and you'll see the interview that I've done. And he's slowly building his channel up, and he's got some good stories on. So the other one is, what's the other one I've seen? I can't remember off the top of my head now. someone, Let It Live or something like that, something similar. I've watched a few of his things. And you've also got Larry Lawton. He's massive. He's got well over 1 million subscribers. And I've seen a couple of his stuff. I don't watch it all the time because it's not the type of stuff that I like watching, because it gets a bit monotonous or a bit boring. But he is, like I've mentioned, he's got his own unique audience. There's somebody out there for everybody. People might think my stuff's repetitive or might think it's boring, but you get your own unique followers, your own unique subscribers. And there's another one, Blood on the Razor Wire. He's another USA Prison Stories. He's got some very good, interesting stuff. He's actually interviewed people that are still in prison, because over in America, you can get video calls, so you can ring from the prison and ring your family members or friends and do like a video call. And he's actually interviewed murderers and all sorts on his channel. So go and give that a watch if you haven't already. He's got a massive subscriber count as well. But I just wanted to mention the differences between the YouTube channels and the subscribers. But again, everyone's got their own unique stories. They've got their own unique followers, and everybody has got their own liking. Everyone that follows my channel, you can see by the comments, everybody loves me stories, loves the comment here, loves the new sort of style that I'm doing, which is the prison stories. But an update on my channel as well, the videos that I've got upcoming, got a massive list of what people have been requesting. And some of the ones that I'm going to get done in the next couple of weeks, which I started around about 9 months ago, is Life Without Parole. So the next couple that I'm going to do on Life Without Parole, or the next one I'm going to do, is Mark Fellows. And he's the one that gunned down Paul Massey. And his nickname was the Iceman because he was a hitman. And he's doing Life Without Parole. So I'm going to cover that one next. But I did say I was going to be doing one every week or every couple of weeks. But I've been doing other topics lately. But I will get back to doing those ones, because I know everybody loves watching the Life Without Parole, especially the ones that you've never heard about, because there was 100 people served with this sentence, Life Without Parole. And currently I think there's about 70 still serving it, because the others have either died or they've won their appeal and they're no longer serving that sentence. But even the ones that have died or had that sentence overturned and getting like a different sentence. For instance, David Bieber, who killed the copper on Boxing Day, I've covered him. He got life without parole, but then he went to the appeal court and they reduced his sentence and gave him, I think it was around about a recommendation of 38 years. So those are the ones that I'm going to be covering. And I'm covering a lot of Scottish stories as well, because a lot of my subscribers are Scottish. And I will cover the other ones in the UK, obviously Wales, Wales and Ireland, because the prison stories from those places as well are very fascinating. Even sometimes the stories behind it are dark. Everybody finds them fascinating, so I will be talking about them a lot more as well. And the last one I've done on the Scottish prison system was Angus, forgetting his bloody name. When I get put on the spot like this, I always forget the names. But I've just done the video on him, so if you go back on the last couple of videos, Angus Sinclair, That was the one. He got the longest sentence in Scotland because up there they don't do life without parole. It's you've got to do recommendations, and he got a recommendation of 37 years. But what I will do as well, because someone mentioned in the comments about Robert Monier saying he got the longest sentence. But if you go back, I've already done a video on him. And he was in Carstairs, which is a mental institute up in Scotland. And I'm going to be covering a lot more stories on that as well, because it's very interesting about what actually goes on up there in that Carstairs. And there's some really evil, horrible monsters. And like I say, some of the stories have got a dark side to it, but it's what people find very interesting. So that's the topics I'm going to be doing, people. And I just wanted to cover the UK and the USA YouTube channels. But anyways, people, on to the next video. So I hope you enjoy that content. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.